Badshahpur. We're given to understand that about 200 men who were riding in motorbikes and SUVs have vandalized over a dozen shops in the main market area of Badshahpur. This happened earlier this evening. Additionally, in Sector 66 in Gurugram, which is in the National Capital Region, a mob set ablaze about half a dozen stores. These incidents have occurred in the aftermath of communal clashes that happened on Monday in New in southern Haryana. Anshul Singh is joining us live from Badshahpur, which is about 30-40 kilometers from Gurugram. Anshul, so the state administration, we heard from the Chief Minister, the Home Minister there saying that the situation in New has been controlled, but it seems like it's now spreading to other places, including Badshahpur and Gurugram. What's the latest?
Well, definitely, Zaka. What the Hindu groups are saying at this point in time is that this is the reaction of the action that happened in New, and I'm currently reporting from Badshahpur, where just a few minutes ago there was heavy arson and rioting that happened over here. Now, these were shops that belong to a particular community, and the rioters came out here. They broke all the shops. They set ablaze a few of the shops and went ahead. As you rightly mentioned, that there were at least 150 to 200 people in this entire area. Now, if I could just tell you the sense of this area, right across the roads are these high-rise buildings. So you can imagine the kind of situation and the kind of panic that might have happened over here, because this is a main road right in Badshahpur, which is inside Gurugram itself, and something like this happening over here definitely again raises a lot of questions on the efforts that are being put in by the state government, by the state administration to make sure that law and order is maintained in this area. Yes, there is a heavy deployment that has been made in New, but yes, the districts that are close to the New where the violence has spread, we have seen yesterday as well that there were reports of riots in Sona as well. But yes, even after that, we are seeing very little to no police official who is present on the ground at this point in time. But yes, the administration is looking into this entire matter very, very seriously, and they are saying that they will speak to the leaders of both these communities, and they will try to make sure that peace is prevailed and peace is restored in this entire area. But yes, that is going to be a very uphill task, and also fixing the responsibility for this entire incident is also something that needs to be done, that hasn't been done at this point in time. So yes, there are efforts being made at this point in time to make sure that law and order is restored, peace is restored in
what are
this
you
entire
hearing both in Gurugram as well as in Sona? I believe schools have been asked to be shut or have learning from home, and I believe offices in Gurugram, most offices, of course, anybody who's been there or is familiar with Gurugram knows that it has a lot of corporate offices, IT companies, call centers that are based in Gurugram. I believe a lot of them have asked their employees to work from home till the end of the week. What are you hearing on that front?
Well, definitely there is a lot of panic when it comes to the office goers and the corporate office that are operating out of Gurugram. So offices have asked, a few of the private offices have asked their employees to work from home, because yes, the situation can flare up, and this is what they expect, and hence they have asked their employees to stay safe and work from home. However, no official announcement on the opening or closing of schools have come out at this point in time. The last order that came in from the DM of Gurugram is that all the petrol pumps in this entire area of Sona and Badshahpur should be closed today, because yes, it is expected that tonight as well there could be arson, there could be rioting, because late last night as well there were reports of rioting in this entire area, and today tonight the administration is also expecting that similar sort of situation might arise, and hence the petrol pumps in this entire area have been asked to stay absolutely shut. However, no official announcement has come out regarding the schools at this point in time. So yes, it remains to be seen if at all the schools would be asked to shut down, because that would send a wrong message, a message that the police and the administration does not want to send. They basically want to restore peace, and hence evoking more restriction would actually worsen the image of Gurugram and Haryana at this point in time.
Anshul, we'll leave it at that. We'll be in touch with you through the course of the rest of the primetime hours, as well as, of course, tomorrow, to get a status check of what's happening there. The violence seemingly now crawling from not just New, where it happened on Sunday and Monday, but now to other parts of Haryana as well. We also have a soundbite from Nishant Yadav. He's the Deputy Commissioner of Gurugram, Let me just play that out and then we'll go across to our debate.
गुरुग्राम में सिचुएशन इज़ एब्सोल्युटली अंडर कंट्रोल। सोहना हमारा जो मेन एरिया फोकस एरिया था, गुरुग्राम का एक सब डिवीज़न, वहाँ पे पीस कमेटी की मीटिंग हो गई है, नॉर्मल सी रिस्टोर हो गई है, मार्केट्स भी खोल दिए गए हैं। आज हमने फ्लैग मार्च भी किया है और कहीं पे भी इस तरह की कोई इंसिडेंट सामने नहीं आई है जिससे कि कोई सामुदायिक जो सौहार्द है उसको नुकसान पहुंचता हो। फिर भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन विजिलेंट है और हमारी इन सब चीज़ों पे नज़र है। गुड़गांव में एक डेथ जो है वो सेक्टर 57 मॉस्क में हुई है। उसके अलावा 5 व्हीकल्स हैव बीन टोच्ड इन सोहना एरिया और 2-3 दुकानों को नुकसान पहुंचा है। उन सब की जो है हमने आइडेंटिफिकेशन कर ली है, रिपोर्ट बना के सरकार के पास भेजी जा रही है और गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कंपनसेशन भी अनाउंस किया गया है।
We'll keep an eye out on the situation there in Haryana, not just in New, but also in Gurugram as well as in Sona. Meanwhile, the big debate tonight, the bill to replace the Delhi Ordinance was moved in the Lok Sabha today. There's likely to be a debate tomorrow. This will basically give power over services and appointments to a committee instead of the elected government of Delhi. The opposition says this runs afoul of the Supreme Court judgment, which happened in May. But the court clearly also said in that judgment and in numerous judgments concerning the national capital of Delhi that Parliament can bring in laws. Also, the opposition has taken umbrage to the fact that while a no-confidence motion is pending in Parliament, how can such a significant legislation be brought forth for discussion? But up first, the story of what transpired in Parliament today, and then we'll go across to our guests.
सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट किया है कि संसद दिल्ली संघ राज्य क्षेत्र के लिए कोई भी कानून बना सकता है।
Let's be very clear. This is the most undemocratic, unconstitutional piece of legislation to have ever been tabled in Parliament in the form of a bill. This basically replaces democracy in Delhi with babocracy.
The bill vindicates the outrageous infringement of this government upon the territory of the states. It is designed of digging up a graveyard.
YSR Congress Party and our leader Sri YS Jaganmohan Reddy Garu has taken a decision to support it, and we will be supporting the bill.
All right, joining us on the talking point this evening, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP here in our studios, Onika Mehrotra, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Jasmine Shah, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party and vice chair of the Delhi Dialogues Commission, Umesh Sehgal is former chief secretary of Delhi. Shehzad Poonawala, the opposition saying that this bill is envisaged to circumvent a Supreme Court order. It was a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court that decided that the authority for appointments and services rests with the Delhi government. You are basically circumventing that authority and giving it to a committee which has 2 bureaucrats and 1 the elected chief minister of Delhi.
Nothing could be further from the truth, because if you read the 11th May judgment of the Supreme Court, and I am quoting to you in summation para 78 to para 95, it clearly says that the scheme envisaged under 239(8)(3)(b), which basically empowers Parliament to make any law for Delhi, because Delhi is not a regular state, it's a union territory. It allows the Parliament to make laws on stateless subjects apart from 1, 2 and 18, which is land, law and order and police. And if the union government or the Parliament makes a law, then the executive power of the LG extends to that extent. This has been categorically said by the Supreme Court judgment of 11th of May. Therefore, when Jasmine's party went and sought a stay as government of Delhi on this particular ordinance, on 2 occasions the Delhi government was refused a stay categorically by the Supreme Court, even though they transferred one of the issues into the higher bench of the constitutional bench of the court. Now let's come to the fact. What is the fact? The fact is that in every state there is an authority that decides upon transfer and postings and important crucial postings. Why is the Aam Aadmi Party so adamant that they want to control transfer and postings? Is it because they want to do a scam, Or is it because, as Mr. Rajshekhar or Mr. More said, that they wanted to take out the excise duty files or the files of the Sheesh Mahal?
But they are the elected government of Delhi. I mean, you tell me which other state does not have the authority to appoint
Delhi is not
bureaucrats.
A full state. Delhi is
it's not a full state. I didn't say it is a full state, but
so
they are the
Zaka,
elected government.
So let me make it very clear. I can imagine if Onika was to say that this was done for Himachal and she had a problem. Himachal is a full state. Madhya Pradesh is a full state. Delhi is not a full state. 239 3A, AA 3B, and apart from that, the para 78 to para 95. I can read out just one line. I'll just read out one line. If Parliament enacts a law, this is Supreme Court, granting executive power on any subject within the domain of NCTD, the executive power of the Lieutenant Governor shall be modified to that extent as provided in the law. This is the law. And forget just one last.
Okay, this is the judgment. You made that point. Let me ask Jasmine. Jasmine, I think Shahzad has a valid point. The bill that has been envisaged and the bill that's been brought forth and tabled in the Lok Sabha today, it's in line with 239AA of the Constitution. It gives special status to Delhi as a union territory, and it allows Parliament to make laws on all issues other than the three that was mentioned, law and order, land and policing. Now, why shouldn't such a bill be brought forth by Parliament? If the will of Parliament is not there, if majority is not there for this bill should be defeated on the floor of the Parliament. But if the will of Parliament is there, if the majority's support is there, including among parties, neutral parties, third parties like BJD and YSRCP, why shouldn't this bill be brought forth and debated and passed?
Zaka, I'll come to your very precise question in just a second. I first like to categorically state that this is the most undemocratic and unconstitutional breach of power, almost a power grab attempted by the Modi government in the last 9 years. And it's the simple reason is that for the last 25 years, BJP has been trying to win the government of Delhi, be in power in Delhi. The people of Delhi have pushed them out. Earlier, Congress was in power, and now Aam Aadmi Party is in power, and they have realized it that for the next 50 years, they cannot win a democratic election in Delhi, and that is the reason this bill has been brought. Your question is the Parliament has an authority to pass a law. Absolutely, the Parliament has an authority to pass a law as far as Delhi is concerned, as far as any other state is concerned, as far as subjects of the concurrent list is concerned. But no law can violate either the Constitution of India, or second, the basic structure of the Constitution. This has been held umpteen number of times by the Supreme Court. The reason why this violates the Constitution is because, Zaka, it's very clear. The Supreme Court judgment of May 2023 categorically stated that is incomprehensible. How can an elected government run if it does not control the services? And the Article 239AA already states that except for these three subjects, everything else comes in the domain of the elected government. So unless and until you amend the Constitution, you can't pass a normal law and amend the Constitution. You have to pass a constitutional amendment, and this is what BJP is not doing because they know that they don't have power. One second. Pass the constitutional amendment. But the second I'll just conclude. The second argument is on the federal structure.
I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not sure that it needs to be a constitutional amendment, because as I understand, and I'm reading from the Supreme Court judgment, this the power to bring a bill, of course, rests with Parliament, and this bill, the bill that the government has brought forth, does not violate the Supreme Court's judgment, because the Supreme Court has simply held that the Delhi government has legislative and executive powers over services, yes, but the judgment also explicitly does not bar Parliament from making laws on that same subject. Now, you have said that Parliament has the powers.
No, you can make the law. You can.
So then where is the need for a constitutional amendment if the Parliament has powers to make a law? What's being brought forth is a law.
No, then anything on. No, then when is a constitutional amendment required? You know, when we say that the government of Delhi has all powers as a regular state, except for the three subjects which are very categorically put out in the Constitution, then you cannot make sure that another fourth subject, which is the services or the control over bureaucracy, can be made under the hand of the central government, which is what, by the way, this authority does. Making two bureaucrats the bosses over the chief minister is essentially amending the Constitution. The number two thing, and the very important thing, is no law, not even an amendment of the Constitution, can violate the federal structure. Today, the reason why this is the most dangerous piece of legislation, Zaka, is because it's not just a control over bureaucracy. All the Delhi Transport Corporation, Jal Board, all these corporations and boards have now been put under the Lieutenant Governor.
Okay, got it.
I'll ask one question to the BJP. Tell me, what will the elected Chief Minister do?
One second.
Tell me one thing after this bill.
Shehzad Poonawalla,
The elected Chief Minister has no powers
what is
left.
the
This is
justification
equivalent to
for this
imposing
three-member
emergency
committee?
on
I
the people
believe.
of Delhi.
One second. I believe it's called the National Capital Civil Service Authority. This was formed after the Supreme Court judgment of May. It has 3 members.
Yes.
One is the Chief Minister. The other 2 are Chief Secretary and Principal Home Secretary. These are bureaucrats appointed by the central government, and the Delhi government does not have a say in this. Are bureaucrats going to lord over an elected government? Are bureaucrats because if it's a committee, then it's going to be a 2:1 majority, and the bureaucrats will have powers over the Chief Minister. If there are differences between the Chief Minister and the other members of the committee, clearly unelected bureaucrats are going to have powers over the Chief Minister.
First of all, Zaka, we cannot play fast and loose with the facts on this show. The fact of the matter is that Mr. Jasmine has completely misquoted what 239AA3B says, and he has completely misquoted the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, if he has said that categorically allows only Delhi to make laws and to make a structure on services, he should quote me the paragraph. I have quoted para 78 to 95, which explicitly says that Parliament, if it makes a law on these subjects apart from 1, 2 and 18 of state list, then those laws prevail. Let's not interrupt each other. Let's not interrupt each other. Let's not interrupt each other. I am speaking
No,
only.
but Shehzad, you're not answering my question.
I'm coming to your question.
One second, you're not answering my question.
Why are we in such a hurry? Let me answer it in detail.
Because I have limited time on the
I
debate.
understand that.
In a 3-member committee,
Yes,
the
I'm
Chief
coming to
Minister
that,
is
Zaka,
one,
but please
the
first-
other 2 are bureaucrats.
Zaka, I completely understand your question. Let me come to that because the answer to this lies in what I'm saying.
Yes.
The answer to this is that the centre or the Parliament has a complete authority as per the Supreme Court judgment and the Constitution to make laws on any subject of the state list.
Not the centre, the Parliament.
That's right. Parliament, in this case, has the right to make laws on any subject under the state list, not
Yes,
just 1, 2 and 18,
That is
right?
not my question.
Yeah. Now, one second. I'm
I'm
coming to
again
it.
repeating my question.
I understand. I've come back
a
to it.
3-member
Now I'm coming
committee
to
has
your
2 bureaucrats and 1
Yes, sir.
Chief Minister, which means the bureaucrats can
Now I'm
overrule the
coming
Chief
to
Minister by
now I'm
majority.
coming to your question. Now that we have put this fact, and it's an incontrovertible fact, now let me tell you that the centre or the Parliament could have very well envisaged a system where the LG takes a decision. In fact, this is the biggest spirit of cooperative federalism, where the Parliament has come up with a legislative scheme where the Chief Minister is heading the committee. The Chief Minister technically does not need to be put in this committee.
No,
could have been very
if
well
there is
done.
a dispute, if there is a dispute in this committee,
Zaka,
how is it
Zaka,
resolved?
let
One
me
second,
just quickly
Jasmine.
respond.
One second, Jasmine. Shehzad, if there is a dispute in this committee over the appointment of
Yes.
any particular bureaucrat, whose view will prevail?
Of course, the view of the majority of the committee will prevail.
So there are 2 bureaucrats in the committee,
Why do you
and
think
there's
that?
one
second.
elected Chief Minister.
One
Whose
second,
view do you
one
think will
second,
prevail?
Zaka, one second. I think that to say
Zaka.
that the bureaucrats will take a certain decision only because they happen to be appointed by a particular system is to question the integrity of the
No,
bureaucrats.
I'm not questioning the
One
integrity.
second.
I'm just questioning logic.
Anyway,
One second. Let me go. I've got others also. One second. I've got others. One second. I've got others. Onika Mehrotra is there.
I promise I'll
Onika
finish it.
Mehrotra is there.
Zaka,
Umesh
just
Sehgal
10
is there.
seconds more.
I'm going to come back to you.
Zaka, just 10
I'm
seconds
going
on
to come
this
back to you,
aspect.
Shehzad, please.
Zaka, just 10
Please
seconds.
Please yield.
Okay.
Onika
Fatal
Mehrotra.
point, the
Onika
argument.
Mehrotra, 1 second. You have decided as the Congress party, after being tooth and nail opposed to the Aam Aadmi Party for 10 plus years now, you have decided to support the Aam Aadmi Party and oppose this bill in Parliament. I'm asking a very simple question. The same judgment that you cite of the Supreme Court of May 2023 says explicitly that Parliament has the powers, legislative and executive powers over services, where it can make laws on the same subject of services and appointments. The bill is consistent with 239AA of the Constitution as well as 239AB of the Constitution, which also allows the President to make regulations for peace, progress and the good governance of Delhi. So why then, pray ma'am, please explain to our viewers, is the Congress party opposed to this? Because you had a government in Delhi for the last for 15 years under Sheila Dikshit. The same rules, 239AA and 239AB, applied to her also. Why are you making concessions for Arvind Kejriwal which you didn't make for your own Chief Minister?
The government of the present government, the present regime, Zaka, in time to come will be remembered for utter misuse of the constitution through their muscle power, money power, whatever. You see, there are burning issues in the parliament of Manipur. They refuse to come on the floor to talk about it. But they, the politics of hatred the political of vindictiveness is so strong on them that their love for rubbing the opponent whichever way they can, it's more stronger than the love for the nation. So they can go to any extent, use the authority or the power given in the parliament to have political scores. You see, earlier also we had governments, but unfortunately here is, an elected government. You need to give certain authority to elected government to work. Ultimately, you're taking away the authority given by the public to the people of Delhi.
Ma'am, I'm asking you, Sheila Dikshit also, Sheila Dikshit's government also had to work within the ambit of 239AA and 239AB.
Yes.
So, in her case also,
Gone
it's
are
not
the
like
politicians.
it's not like the state government had full authority over services and appointments. It did not.
Umesh sir is there.
I'll ask him, yes.
He'll tell you. Gone are those politicians. Gone are Atal Bihari Vajpayee and other leaders who have deliberation and they used to have discussions. Gone are the days. It's me or the highway. That's the kind of policy the BJP
that's
is
not an
applying
answer to
these
my
days.
question, ma'am.
So what? Even the code they have defined of that too.
Okay.
So no, absolutely right. I'm telling you
Umesh
that
Sehgal Saab,
the government of
Umesh Sehgal Saab, please respond. This is what the Aam Aadmi Party is saying. The rest of the opposition is saying that the attempt through this bill is to A, violate the Supreme Court judgment, and B, that at the end of the day, the elected government, which is the will of the people of Delhi, should have authority on appointments and services, which was sum and substance of the Supreme Court judgment. This simply is circumventing the Supreme Court judgment. Where do you stand, sir? And how did it function all these years when Sheila Dikshit was in power? Before that, the BJP was in power, and so on in Delhi.
See, basically, these are constitutional issues, legal issues, of which I am not an expert and I would not like to comment. I would like to say that this control business, what is control? We want to control the bureaucracy. We want to control the services. You want to control the services so that you can spend 50 crores on the Chief Minister's bungalow. You want to control the services so that you can do excise scandals. You want to control the bureaucracy. No, so I'm sorry. The bureaucracy is not the servant of the masters who are elected by the people. They have their own constitutional role, their own constitutional authority and their own constitutional protection. Article 311 protects the bureaucracy. You cannot be removed from service except by an authority which has appointed you. Now there are various provisions which protect the bureaucracy. In 2013 or 11 there was a Supreme Court ruling which said that you must have a civil services authority. Now here, I don't know why Chief Minister is a member of that Civil Services Authority. The Civil Services Authority should be totally a Civil Services Authority. Chief Secretary and two secretaries.
Tell me, every other elected state government, Mr. Sehgal, every other elected state government has powers to appoint secretaries and additional secretaries and so on. Why should the government of Delhi not have those
I don't
powers?
dispute that. What I am saying is, I am not disputing that. No. People don't have the arbitrary powers to appoint anybody you like. You see the number of cases which are against the ministers, Chief Minister of Haryana, Chief Minister of Bihar, now the Railway Minister, ex-Railway Minister. You find that appointments are not something which are arbitrary. There are service commissions. There are statutory, constitutional provisions for appointment of people. And as far as appointment is concerned, the executive has hardly any control. They have no control. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow the recruitment rules. You have to frame the recruitment rules as approved by the UPSC or the Public Service Commissions.
Okay, so
Jasmine, now, as far as the suspensions and this thing is concerned, no, I'll just tell you. Just let me complete one thing.
Okay,
as far as the Central Vigilance Commission is concerned, that has authority over Delhi. As the CBI concerned, it has authority over Delhi. Now these are all central agencies. They already have authority over Delhi. Article 229 notwithstanding, Supreme Court ruling notwithstanding. So to say that on vigilance matters and on appointment matters, the Chief Minister should have sole authority because he is elected is absolutely wrong.
Jasmine, respond. There's also the political charge that you are wanting to do all this to try and escape from the heat that your ministers are facing, whether it is, or ex-ministers are facing, whether it is Manish Sisodia or Satyendra Jain, for whom even now bail has not been granted. Forget about, them getting a clean sheet.
Zaka, by that argument, no party ever that has been elected by the people should be given any powers, because the opposition will always levy some allegations. In a democracy, the will of the people is supreme, and that is period. Let the people of Delhi be the decider of who is appropriate or not to govern them. And as far as the point that you mentioned, Zaka, I must first say that it is not just about the appointment of bureaucrat. This particular bill goes far beyond that. It actually states that any secretary of any department in Delhi can decide whether to implement a minister's decision or not. No government in the history anywhere in the world which has a parliament democracy has ever passed this law. It further states that the chief secretary will sit in judgment over any decision that the cabinet has passed. What kind of a facade are you even planting? And I would say this is even more dangerous than the emergency, because at least in emergency you called out and you suspended democracy. Today you are electing a chief minister, but taking the you're rugging the entire carpet out of his feet. You have left him with no powers. Tell me one thing that the chief minister can govern.
Bureaucrats will take every decision, forget about not just appointments, but every decision. They will have the final authority and not the elected government of Delhi. That's not democracy.
Zaka, I come to your show with the expectation that we will only stick to facts because you put premium on that. He said that the chief secretary has the authority in this law to override the decision of the chief minister. Can Jasmine, who is also a member of the Delhi Dialogue Commission, as you said, a responsible position for which we are paying taxpayer money, show me the provision in the bill? Can he show us the provision? He's not shown us the provision where the Supreme Court has stated. One second now, Jasmine. Please don't keep interrupting. Zaka, my time gets interrupted with this interruption.
Let him finish. Yeah, Shahzad, finish.
Zaka, I asked him very clearly that tell me which paragraphs or provisions of the Supreme Court judgment of 11th May allow only Delhi government or Delhi Assembly to make law on services, and the Parliament is withheld from making laws. He couldn't show it. Then I have asked him now that show me that paragraph or that provision where the chief secretary's decisions will override the chief minister's. This is all rhetorics. Forget everything else, Zaka. Do you know Ashish Khaitan? Not a friend of the BJP. Here is an article written by him in The Wire where he's clearly stated, and I can read out paragraphs, but I'll just read one paragraph where he said that para 95 makes it amply clear that the judgment does not constitutionally restrict the scope, application and reach of 239(8)(3), which grants union government the overriding control over JNCTD. This is Ashish Khaitan. You don't believe me, you don't believe Zaka, you don't believe the law, you don't believe the judgment. You come here and you spew facts, fiction in the name of facts. Please, Mr. Jasmine, you can't keep lying like your chief minister keeps doing and then go around taking apologies from Nitin Gadkari and Arun Jaitley.
Okay,
so clearly, stop paraphrasing from some WhatsApp university.
Jasmine, respond. Which part of this bill says that the chief secretary has overriding powers over the chief minister?
Say the provision and the clause.
Absolutely. If we had half an hour, I'll only point
provision
out
and clause. No, just tell me the provision and clause in the bill.
And 45D.
Tell me the provision clause in the
45I. All of these very clearly state. Shahzad, if you have not read, I cannot. Please pardon.
Tell me the provision. I have the law with me. Tell me the provision
of this show. Please read
45I,
J and K. The reality is this. You said that the chief minister heads a panel and therefore he has all the powers. What does the law further state? That even if the National Civil Services Authority appoints a bureaucrat and let's say the chief minister is agreement with it, LG can overturn every decision
where
of the
chief
services
secretary
authority.
will override
So
the decision
again over
of the
here
chief minister.
on any and every matter, you have to read, my friend. If you are illiterate, if you do not have the ability to read, I cannot help you.
No,
45I, J and K, please go read it and please shut up.
No, one second. One second. Look, Jasmine, the point is the question that was before the Supreme Court, and my understanding is the question that is pertinent to this bill, which has been introduced in the Lok Sabha, is on the question of appointment and services. Please tell our viewers, where in the bill does it say that every decision taken by the Chief Minister can be overridden by the Chief Secretary or the Lieutenant Governor? Also, please tell us, where in this bill does it say that if there is a consensus in this National Civil Service Appointment Authority between the two bureaucrats and the Chief Minister, the LG can still override them? These are the two specific questions.
No, absolutely. The entire clause, which is part 3 of 45H, subsection 3 of 45H, which states how the National Civil Services Authority works. Zaka, again I repeat, it's a 3-member authority, 2 bureaucrats, 1 chief minister. The bureaucrats can overrule the chief minister. Let's assume that doesn't happen. The chief minister actually gets a good IS officer, an honest IS officer to serve the education department. The lieutenant governor, the bill further says that however, if the lieutenant governor disagrees even with the decision of this 3-member committee, which is unlikely because there are 2 bureaucrats who will do the bidding of the center, then the lieutenant governor can overturn it. There is absolutely no kind of a restriction on lieutenant governor calling the shots. Further, institutions, and these are decisions, this were never happened in the last 30 years in Delhi. 50 corporations, Zaka, the Women Commission, the Child Commission, DTC, Jal Board, DUSIB, which looks after slum, all the appointments are hereafter going to be made by either the Lieutenant Governor or the President of India. In the last 30 years, you mentioned that Mrs. Sheila Dikshit also had similar restraints. She never had this kind of, almost zero powers.
Okay.
Even in the matter of services, it was only after Arvind Kejriwal government was formed did the center impose all these restrictions. It's very clear. BJP knows that it can never win Delhi by electoral vote.
You made that point, Jasmine.
Abusing the powers.
Okay, you made that point, Jasmine. Now yield, please. Let Shehzad respond. Yeah, Shehzad.
He said 45H says this, right? That's what he said.
45 I, J, K and H. Those are the 4 clauses that he quoted.
Okay, not 45H that I'm reading.
Exactly.
Let me read what 45H is.
Provided
Let
further
me
that in
read
case
what
the
45H
Lieutenant
is.
Governor differs with the recommendation made,
Can I read what 45H
he
is?
may for reasons to be
Can I read what 45H is?
return the recommendation.
Can I read what
Yeah,
45H
Jasmine,
is?
Shehzad has got the bill in front of him, 45H. Yeah.
Notwithstanding anything contained in any law for the... Notwithstanding anything contained in any law for the time being in force, the National Capital Service Authority shall have the responsibility to recommend the transfer and postings of all the Group A officers and officers of DANIC serving in the office affairs of the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi, but not officers serving in connection with any subject matter either fully or in part connected with entries 1 to 18 of the list 2 of state list or the 7th schedule of the Constitution and entries 64, 65, 66. Where does it say the Chief Secretary will overrule whatever the Chief Minister
No, he's saying subclause 3.
Okay, let's go to subclause 3.
45H, subclause 3.
I'm going to subclause C. The Lieutenant Governor, after the receipt of such recommendation under the subsection L or subsection 1 and subsection 2 of this section, may pass appropriate orders giving effect to the recommendation made. Provided that the Lieutenant Governor, before passing appropriate orders on any such recommendation, may ask for relevant material regarding the Group A officers. Where is it? Where is it?
Jasmine, where does it say the LG
will
can
overrule
overrule?
Further. No,
where
continue.
is it saying this?
Continue. Provided further that in case the Lieutenant Governor differs with the recommendations made, whether based
Does
upon
he
the
know how
material
Delhi
so called for or
functions?
otherwise, the Lieutenant Governor may, for reasons to be recorded in writing,
Now,
return
Zaka,
the
let me
recommendation
answer
to
this
the
question,
authority.
please. One
Provided
second. We'll
also
have to
that
go
in
back to
case
the-
of a difference of
He's
opinion,
reading
the
the subclause
decision
3,
of the Lieutenant
which-
Governor will be
Which
final.
seemingly says that the
It
Lieutenant
very
First of all,
clearly
Governor
says
can
that in
disagree
case
with
of a
the...
He has
difference
to
of
stop
opinion,
talking and allow
the
me to
decision
complete.
of the Lieutenant
Jasmine,
Governor will be
continuously
final.
talking
let
Why are you
Shehzad-
lying?
Okay,
The
let him
Lieutenant
respond
Governor
now.
can
Let him
decide
respond.
any and everything.
Let him respond. Yeah, Shehzad, respond.
Firstly, Jasmine said that the Chief Secretary can overrule the Chief Minister. It's nowhere in the bill. Secondly, now he says the LG can take a final decision. Of course. Do you know the system of Delhi? Delhi is not a normal state where the Madhya Pradesh governor is just a nominal head and the Chief Minister is the real executive. Delhi is not a normal state. Please do not interrupt, sir. Mr. Zaka Jacob.
One second.
How can I make a point to the audiences if I'm interrupting?
Jasmine, one second, please. Jasmine,
You
one second,
cannot
please.
lie what the Supreme Court has
You
already
asked him a
decided.
question. You read out the clause 45H, subclause 3. Let him now respond.
You have somebody like Umesh Saigal sitting here. The capital of Delhi is not a normal state, and the constitution says that the scheme is that 1, 2 and 18, the parliament can directly make laws in state list. But if parliament chooses to make on any other subject in the state list, it is as good as a concurrent list. This is what the Supreme Court judgment of May 11th says. And yet you are not able to read this or comprehend it. It is not my problem.
No, but what is your response to what he said about the LG having the authority to overrule the
Of
NCC?
course, the LG, technically it is the LG that will get, now the LG is executive power on services. But still, the center has created or the parliament has created an authority. 1 second, can you stop interrupting, Zara?
That's the point that he's making.
But I have to answer you. How can I answer?
Fair enough. No, 1 second. You're answering me, not him. 1 second, Jasmine. 1
That
second.
makes sense if he's interrupting.
1 second, Jasmine.
I'm answering the exact same point.
The point that he's making, and I think you're validating his point, is that the LG then can overrule even the NCC.
1 second.
Then why appoint the NCC?
Let me explain to you. In every state, there is a public service commission that decides. Right? There is an authority here too. The authority has bureaucrats, but it is headed by the Chief Minister, which is showing that there is a bigger heart given that Chief Minister led this committee. Now they come to a decision. They can come unanimously to a decision, or they may have a difference. If they have a difference, the deadlock has to be solved. So the deadlock will be solved by the LG. This is the scheme. What is the problem in the scheme? Why does the Chief Minister think that he, in a scheme of Delhi, where the ultimate authority of making laws is with Parliament on state list, he should have the power when it is not constitutionally envisaged as such?
I'll give Onika Mehrotra and then Umesh Sehgal the final word. Onika Mehrotra, it comes back to the government is saying that this bill is being supported even by non-NDA parties like the BJD, the YSRCP. There are parties who are not aligned to either the opposition, the India Alliance or to the NDA, and they are also supporting this bill. So then you are misguided in your attempt to calling this draconian, authoritarian, etc., etc. Onika Mehrotra.
I feel the Bharatiya Janata Party, the centre government, has unnecessarily brought a matter of confrontation between the union territory or the centre government or wherever they feel like. The question here is, as you rightly said, when Congress was in power with Sheila ji here in Home Affairs, there were dialogues and conversations. Unnecessarily confrontation has been brought in by the LG, which I think has been on a very bad taste for the people of Delhi.
Who was the LG? Who appointed Najib Jung was having confrontation with the Delhi government all the time? Onika, who appointed Najib Jung, by the way? Point 2, I do not need to be lectured about role of governors by Congress party.
You have
and point 3, what has been done, is it unconstitutional?
Okay, no, one second. When Jasmine
the entire country is burning.
She's being sanctimonious on an issue constitutionally valid.
Please,
concentrate on the law and order situation of...
Finish your point,
unnecessary confrontation. BJP always had the habit of, as I said, my way or the highway. There has to be a balance of power also. You allow the elected government to function. Yes, if they are not able to do it, there has to be a super authority. But having said that, the Supreme Court gives us an order, and then BJP, either midnight or any time, they come with all sort of adhyadeshas. They come with all sort of bills.
I'll give you the final word.
Running the government on their own whims and fancies.
By the way, the first court, this matter went to court in 2015. We are in 2023. It's been 8 years, and we still don't see resolution between who actually, has the power to appoint bureaucrats in Delhi, who has power over services and appointments, whether it's the elected government or is it the lieutenant governor. Mr. Sehgal, final word.
Oh, no, I don't think there is any confusion here. As far as the appointing authority is concerned, for any union territory, including Delhi, it is the president. And the recommending authority and recruitment rules are by the Union Public Service Commission. Delhi does not have a state public service commission. So let us forget the appointments. They have accepted that the subordinate services board will be set up. Subordinate services board does only class 3 and class 4 appointments, and these appointments are also then approved by the lieutenant governor. That is by the president, by the president's authority.
Okay.
Now, as far as the suspension, dismissal, and this thing is concerned, that is governed by the Central Vigilance Commission instructions. There is a vigilance manual. The CVC is a constitutional, statutory authority. There is our law, and the CBI controls the anti-corruption aspects
Thank
of
you
the
very
union
much,
territory, whether it is of
Mr.
Chapasi
Sehgal,
or it is of this.
Mehrotra, Shehzad Poonawalla, and of course Jasmine Shah for joining us. We'll see how this progresses in Parliament. The bill has been tabled. The debate, of course, will happen tomorrow in the Lok Sabha. Let's now shift focus to what else is happening in Karnataka. The Congress government there has come under fire over claims of a fund crunch in the state. The finance department has informed the Siddaramaiah government that the Griha Lakshmi scheme, which is the flagship scheme for women, would be difficult to implement because of financial constraints during this current financial year. Now, despite this warning, and there's a letter written by the finance secretary to the government saying that there is a shortage of funds, the Congress government in Karnataka has already given its green signal and declared its intent to proceed with the Griha Lakshmi scheme. In response to this, the BJP has launched a scathing attack on the Siddaramaiah government, accusing the Congress of lacking the funds for development but having money for a Rajiv Gandhi statue. Also, you remember that last week, the Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar gave an interview where he said that this year development will have to take a pause because there is a shortage of funds and that the guarantees are going to take priority or precedence. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi also criticized the Congress government in Karnataka, blaming their freebies for the crisis, the financial crisis faced by the state. Are freebies offered by state governments coming at the cost of social welfare and coming at the cost of development?
point of discipline on the matter of finances. Who is talking about discipline on the finances? The BJP is the one who pushed the state of Karnataka for a borrowing loan of more than 2.6 lakh crores. And moreover, to be very, very frank, when they were in the election year and they know that they are going for election, why did they give approval for so many projects more than 2 lakh crores?
एक तरफ महाराष्ट्र में हम चौतरफा विकास होते देख रहे हैं, वहीं दूसरी तरफ पड़ोसी राज्य कर्नाटका में जो हो रहा है वो भी हमारे सामने है।
All right, Dr. Sudha Halkai of the Karnataka BJP is joining us. Sanket Yanagi is Congress spokesperson in Karnataka. Sanket Yanagi, please tell us, the Finance Secretary wrote to the state government, this was back in July, where he said that the state does not have the finances to fund Griha Lakshmi. Griha Lakshmi alone will cost 30,000 crores to fund, giving 2,000 rupees to the woman head of every household. Point is, if there's no money, if the treasury is empty, why is the state still going ahead with this freebie?
First of all, Jaka, the Chief Minister on the floor of the House has clarified how BJP in its previous tenure deteriorated the financial health of the state. The GST dues were not being received by the Karnataka government from the central government. The development was affected in the state of Karnataka because of the same. And in addition to the same, 40% commission charges pushed the Karnataka to the troubled state. And the status which the Karnataka has reached as on the date of we being elected was very critical. But we have made the promise and we would fulfill it. And we have the strategy for improving the state revenue so that not only the developmental activities be carried out in a phased manner over the period of 5 years, and also the guarantees which we have given, and that would be fulfilled.
But sir, where is the money? Sir, where is the money? The finance secretary himself is saying there is no money. Where are you going to fund this? 52,000 crores is the figure that was given by DK Shivakumar in an interview last week, saying 52,000 crores is what you need for funding all the 5 guarantees, right? Of which Griha Lakshmi itself takes close to 30,000 crores. 2,000 rupees to all the women heads of households across the state. If the finance secretary is saying there's no money to fund this, how are you going to fund it?
All that the financial secretary means and what could be interpreted out of that letter is BJP has already emptied the finances and the financial condition of the country, the state. And there has been no receipt of the GST due, which is due from the central government. In that context of the matter, the financial secretary has said, look, this is the financial condition the BJP has left to the state. And now it is for you to work out something. That is what it means. What is wrong in the financial secretary revealing the condition of the state?
Dr. Halkai, please respond. What is the Congress is saying two things. One, that the BJP was responsible for the emptying out of the treasury. And second, they are also saying that there are a significant number of exclusions in Griha Lakshmi. If you have a four-wheeler, if you have an annual income of more than 1.2 or 1.5 lakhs per annum, etc., etc. There's a whole bunch of exclusions. So they are targeting only women who are from largely poorer households who will get this 2,000 rupees per month.
First of all, either the Congress spokesperson has not done his homework well regarding the funds left over by the BJP party during the elections. There were surplus funds which were left over. So please go back and see it. Or he is trying to misguide and put themselves under the carpet to hide from all the blunders what they have done and what they are doing today. Second thing is, Congress has appeasement politics only for two things. One is for one particular community and one is for one particular dynastic family. One side, they have utilized the SC/ST subplan fund, which is supposed to be not utilized at all according to 70. 11,000 crores funds from SC/ST subplan funds have been utilized to fulfill the guarantees, and this is told by none other than Mahadevappa, who is a social welfare minister. Earlier he denied it, but now he has accepted it. So who has given them the rights to seize the power or the rights of the SC/ST people?
Dr.
Second,
Yanagi,
now
respond to that.
Mr.
I think
DK
that's one
Shivakumar-
second. That's a
Mr.
that's a fair point. 11,000 crores, and admitted by the social welfare minister, Mr. Mahadevappa, that 11,000 crores are coming from the SC/ST sub plan to be able to fund Griha Lakshmi.
So let us understand few things here. It is a financial arrangement and the rearrangement which we are now planning for the purpose of implementation of the scheme till the revenue is improved. And the second aspect of the matter is, firstly, I would like to ask one question to the spokesperson of the BJP. Let them clarify on air itself as to whether they are against the free rice to the poor.
When you were
Are they
the
against the
guarantees,
free rice
did you tell
distribution
that
to
you
the
are
poor
going to
people?
take the funds from the? You are
1
going to
minute,
take the
please.
funds
Please
from the
don't.
constitutional
Ma'am,
rights?
1 minute, ma'am, 1
Please
minute,
maintain
ma'am, 1
the
minute.
decency.
Let him finish. Yeah.
Are
No,
they
answer the
against-
question, Mr.
Yes,
Yanagi.
one
Answer
by
the
one.
question. Yeah.
Yes. Is the BJP against the free distribution of rice to the poor? Number one, they need to clarify. Are they against the free bus pass to the woman? Let them clarify. Are they against the free electricity of 200 units to the poor and those who are eligible?
No,
in
no,
the state of
Mr.
Karnataka? Are they
Yanagi,
against-
Mr. Yanagi, please answer the
Not
question.
welfare
11,000
measure.
crores
It
are being
explains-
diverted from SC/ST subplan to fund Griha Lakshmi. Please tell the viewers of Karnataka, the voters of Karnataka, how you justify this, please.
It is a temporary arrangement. It is not that completely it has been diverted till the revenue generated because
It
has
is
been
iske
already-
topi uske sir, uske topi iske sir.
Dr. Halkai, you are
And
making a
that's what
second point. Yeah, you are
And the
making a
second
second.
point
No,
is-
one second.
one minute,
Let
one
Dr. Halkai respond. Yeah, you are making a
One
second
minute,
point.
let me clarify that aspect
It's
of the
very
matter.
clear. It's
Incomplete.
very clear till the end of that.
Hmm.
Shall I
Second-
proceed?
Yeah,
It is
yes,
very clear.
Dr.
till the
Halkai,
end of
Dr.
the
Halkai,
year. What they're
Dr.
going to do
Halkai,
is-
please, Dr. Halkai. Yeah, thank you.
When the chief minister
Yeah.
has already clarified on the floor of the house. with
Dr.
all the
Halkai,
data,
please. Thank you.
why
Thank
it
you.
was-
Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Halkai. Dr. Sudha
So
Halkai.
I'm telling you, yeah, till the end of the tenure, what they're going to do is iske topi uske sir, uske topi iske sir. This is what they're going to do. Earlier also, they didn't have any plans for these guarantees. Just like that, only for their power hunger, they promised all these guarantees without any proper planning. So there is no plotting now, one thing. And now they're going to see they've increased the current tariff, they've increased the prices of all the things, and you can see everything is mesmerized in Karnataka. Nothing is, in
No,
a
but
proper,
Dr.
going in a
Halkai,
proper way.
please
And
also
there is
respond to what
absolutely
Mr.
no-
Yanagi asked you. Are you against free
Yeah,
bus
one minute.
passes? Are you against
Absolutely no.
Are you
Absolutely no.
against free
Absolutely no.
scholarships for girls? Are you against
just a minute, just
free
a minute, just a
2,000
minute.
rupees
Free
to
bus
women
passes were there in
households?
our manifesto also.
Yeah.
Free bus passes were there in our manifesto also.
Hmm.
And the money Griha Lakshmi, what they're promising, we are not. I am being a woman. I am not against any of the freebies, but not at the cost of the right of the SC/ST or any other thing which they have been particularly 18% of the budget has to be given to them. Okay.
No,
And
he's
according
saying
to
that is a
70, I'm
financial
repeating, they're not
rearrangement.
supposed to-
He's saying
they're-
that
okay,
money
it
is taken
they're
from
not
this
supposed
account,
to
giving
do
to
it.
other
They're
account.
not supposed to do it. They're not supposed to do it. That's what I'm saying. It is completely unconstitutional. There is a complete break in the constitution. They're not supposed to do it.
Okay.
One thing. On the other hand, Mr. DK Shivakumar, he's announcing 1.5 crore for the statue of
Yes.
Rajiv Gandhi, brass statue of Rajiv Gandhi. What for? Although the statue is there in that place, they want to come up with a new statue.
Yeah, please,
This
Mr.
is an
Yanagi, how
appeasement
does
politics, hero
how does
worship.
1.5
How are they
crore
going to justify
how does
this? You tell me.
1.5 crore justify for a brass statue at a time when you are claiming there is no money in the treasury? Finance Secretary is claiming there is no
And-
money in the treasury, and you are
Just a
having to adjust money from SC/ST sub plan to fund your guarantees. Mr. Yanagi.
Let us understand few things which are important. When we are speaking about the former Prime
Is
Minister,
it so important,
Mr. Rajiv Gandhi.
Rajiv Gandhi's brass statue? It is so very
One
important
minute,
now.
please.
When you're saying you don't have
Ma'am,
development,
one minute,
you
ma'am.
don't have finances
Ma'am,
for
one
the
minute.
development of
Just
One minute,
state.
ma'am. 1 minute. Let him speak. Yeah.
When we are talking about the statue of a former Prime Minister, he cannot be regarded as only a representative of one political party. He is represented the country itself. He has taken the country to some developmental mode, and he has contributed to the country. He is the statesman. He was a statesman. Let us accept that first. Let us have at least the humility to accept that fact. When someone is opening Atal Bihari Vajpayee statue, we shouldn't oppose, and we did not oppose. when Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's statue has been inaugurated. We have welcomed it even though it was expensive. When Chhatrapati Shivaji's statue is being inaugurated or funded in Maharashtra, we never opposed it. So this is something we must
But on the one hand, you're saying you don't have money for the development of the state.
Yeah, the question was you don't have money to develop the state, but you have money for the statue.
You don't have
How much? It is very minimal amount. Not like
no
3,500
crores. 1 1.5 crore
let
is
us
not a
understand.
minimal amount.
Okay.
No.
I got to
don't-
wrap
I
up.
don't
Thank you
accept
very
it.
much, Dr. Sudha Halkai and Sanket Yanagi for joining us. We'll leave it to the better judgment of the people of Karnataka on whether it is right to be diverting funds from SC/ST to be able to fund Griha Lakshmi as well as other guarantees that have been provided by the Congress in its manifesto and the promises that they made to the people of Karnataka before coming to power. Meanwhile, as we wrap up, sweltering heat continues to intensify across the United States. The heat index has soared past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Tens of millions of Americans have confronted with brutally hot temperatures from coast to coast. This is a wrap. Thanks very much for tuning in.
Temperatures scorching above the triple digits across the United States as experts stamp July the hottest month on the planet in recorded history.
I just feel kind of, nauseated, and then I feel flushed. You can feel it. Your heart rate speeds up. Sometimes you have a little light headache and you just feel dehydrated and you got to have your water. So I have my water right here.
The historic heat wave intensifying in states like Arizona and others that have already experienced deadly impacts of extreme temperatures, prompting millions of Americans to heed excessive heat warnings from California to New York City.
You gotta be like a lizard on day. You gotta stay in the shade. You gotta move slowly. Keep the heart rate low. Otherwise, you're just gonna be sweating bullets.
The European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service notes that global temperatures are likely the highest in at least 100,000 years, with the possibility of long-term effects.
You should be drinking every hour or so, getting 8 to 16 ounces in if you're outside.
The heat wave also hindering the battle against wildfires, intensifying in states such as Nevada and California, where the York fire has scorched 70,000 acres of the Mojave National Preserve. In this region, fire whirls or vortexes of flames and smoke are creating dangerous conditions for firefighters.
That this survey will clinch for the Hindu side the fact that this temple was indeed razed, of course, as per historical records too, and a mosque was built over it. Is that the game set match here?
इंडियन नेशनल डेवलपमेंटल इंक्लूसिव अलायंस का पर्याय हिंदी में सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका प्रयास, सबका विश्वास है। क्या सही मायने में आपकी अलायंस भारत के हित के लिए बनी है कि स्वहित के लिए बनी है?
Ask the Home Minister, ask the Prime Minister the tough questions on what they did and did not do in Manipur. But instead, you are lending the government an opportunity to claim that it's not them who's running away from the debate, but it's you, the opposition.
Presented by
Shahzad Punawala, the opposition, saying that this bill is envisaged to circumvent a Supreme Court order. It was a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court that decided that the authority for appointments and services rests with the Delhi government. You are basically circumventing that authority and giving it to a committee which has 2 bureaucrats and 1 the elected Chief Minister of Delhi.
Nothing could be further from the truth, because if you read the 11th May judgment of the Supreme Court, and I am quoting to you in summation para 78 to para 95, it clearly says that the scheme envisaged under 239(8)(3)(b), which basically empowers Parliament to make any law for Delhi, because Delhi is not a regular state, it's a union territory. It allows the Parliament to make laws on stateless subjects apart from 1, 2 and 18, which is land, law and order and police. And if the union government or the Parliament makes a law, then the executive power of the LG extends to that extent. This has been categorically said by the Supreme Court judgment of 11th of May. Therefore, when Jasmine's party went and sought a stay as government of Delhi on this particular ordinance, on 2 occasions, the Delhi government was refused a stay categorically by the Supreme Court, even though they transferred one of the issues into the higher bench of the constitutional bench of the court. Now, let's come to the fact. What is the fact? The fact is that in every state, there is an authority that decides upon transfer and postings and important crucial postings. Why is the Aam Aadmi Party so adamant that they want to control transfer and postings? Is it because they want to do a scam, or is it because, as Mr. Rajshekhar or Mr. More said, that they wanted to take out the excise duty files or the files of the Sheesh Mahal?
But they are the elected government of Delhi. I mean, you tell me which other state does not have the authority to appoint
Delhi is not
bureaucrats.
A full state. Delhi is
yeah, it's not a full state. I didn't say it is a full state, but
so
they are the elected government.
So let me make it very clear. I can imagine if Onika was to say that this was done for Himachal and she had a problem. Himachal is a full state. Madhya Pradesh is a full state. Delhi is not a full state. 239 3A, AA 3B, and apart from that, the para 78 to para 95. I can read out just one line. I'll just read out one line. If Parliament enacts a law, the Supreme Court, granting executive power on any subject within the domain of NCTD, the executive power of the Lieutenant Governor shall be modified to that extent as provided in the law. This is the law. And forget just one last.
Okay, this is the judgment. You made that point. Let me ask Jasmine. Jasmine, I think Shahzad has a valid point. The bill that has been envisaged and the bill that's been brought forth and tabled in the Lok Sabha today, it's in line with 239AA of the Constitution. It gives special status to Delhi as a union territory, and it allows Parliament to make laws on all issues other than the 3 that was mentioned, law and order, land and policing. Now, why shouldn't such a bill be brought forth by Parliament? If the will of Parliament is not there, if majority is not there for this bill should be defeated on the floor of the Parliament. But if the will of Parliament is there, if the majority's support is there, including among parties, neutral parties, third parties like BJD and YSRCP, why shouldn't this bill be brought forth and debated and passed?
Zaka, I'll come to your very precise question in just a second. I first like to categorically state that this is the most undemocratic and unconstitutional breach of power, almost a power grab attempted by the Modi government in the last 9 years. And it's the simple reason is that for the last 25 years, BJP has been trying to win the government of Delhi, be in power in Delhi. The people of Delhi have pushed them out. Earlier, Congress was in power, and now Aam Aadmi Party is in power, and they have realized it that for the next 50 years, they cannot win a democratic election in Delhi, and that is the reason this bill has been brought. Your question is the Parliament has an authority to pass a law. Absolutely, the Parliament has an authority to pass a law as far as Delhi is concerned, as far as any other state is concerned, as far as subjects of the concurrent list is concerned. But no law can violate either the Constitution of India, or second, the basic structure of the Constitution. This has been held umpteen number of times by the Supreme Court. The reason why this violates the Constitution is because, Zaka, it's very clear. The Supreme Court judgment of May 2023 categorically stated that is incomprehensible. How can an elected government run if it does not control the services? And the Article 239AA already states that except for these 3 subjects, everything else comes in the domain of the elected government. So unless and until you amend the Constitution, you can't pass a normal law and amend the Constitution. You have to pass a constitutional amendment, and this is what BJP is not doing because they know that they don't have power.
One second.
Pass the constitutional amendment.
No.
But the second part, the
Supreme Court judgment.
I'll just conclude. The second argument is on the federal structure.
I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not sure that it needs to be a constitutional amendment, because as I understand, and I'm reading from the Supreme Court judgment, this the power to bring a bill, of course, rests with Parliament, and this bill, the bill that the government has brought forth, does not violate the Supreme Court's judgment, because the Supreme Court has simply held that the Delhi government has legislative and executive powers over services, yes, but the judgment also explicitly does not bar Parliament from making laws on that same subject. Now, you have said that Parliament has the powers.
No, you can make the law. You can.
So then where is the need for a constitutional amendment if the Parliament has powers to make a law? What's being brought forth is a law.
No, then anything on. No, then when is a constitutional amendment required? You know, when we say that the government of Delhi has all powers as a regular state, except for the 3 subjects which are very categorically put out in the Constitution, then you cannot make sure that another 4th subject, which is the services of the country.
Hello, namaste.
Namaskar, this is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The Chinese military has completed 96 years today. They haven't been tested in a war in